Good morning. First of all, I'm very happy to be here today and share this morning with you. Working internationally or living internationally or working in multicultural organizations indeed gives you a chance to learn a lot about different cultures and different countries. But I think it gives you an equally big opportunity to learn something about yourself. Because every time you are approaching a situation which is uncomfortable or make you confused or in any other way gives you a reaction, those are the moments when the person do something different than you expected. There you have a real learning. So if you take a step back and just try to analyze what actually went through my body, there is a great learning there for you as well. So you often hear people saying you learn a lot about traveling, but I think you can learn a lot also in both ways. I have been living in Poland for 12 years, which means I'm soon to be 40. So this means that basically my whole professional career has been abroad. And I'm very colored, I'm sure, from being doing that journey here. I know that most of you are Polish in the room here today. I will touch upon things which I found surprising entering Poland. I hope no one has any sharp objects or anything on them. And if you feel angry, try to analyze what is the learning for you. The reason I'm here is Monica's small talk. I can confirm she's a great small talker. We have met on a few occasions. We always had good discussions. And well, apparently she found me interesting enough to have me here today. So thank you very much for that. Okay, so where should I start? Let's go from the first day entering an office, starting to work in Poland. I'm sure you've all been there. This awkward moment when you want to go in, you want to say hello to new colleagues. You would rather like to remember what they said, what was the name and the face. And at the same time, you want to make a good impression. So there's a lot of pressure going on. And as I was introduced by my manager, we walked around. It went quite okay until I met Adam. Adam was a rather experienced sales guy, big guy with a very firm handshake. And when I was introduced, my manager said my name and he said, "This is our new purchasing director." At that moment, Adam's face completely changed. And he didn't look at me anymore. He looked at my manager and said, "But he's so young." So apparently I didn't fit the looks of what was expected from a purchasing director. And this is something that if I was observant, I would have learned more at that moment. But I didn't. I was just rushing into a new environment and I thought things are going to be as back home. And they are not. And I will share a story from, I think it's within the first month in Poland. It's still very actual today, but I choose an old example not to offend anyone I'm currently working with. That's another personality or Swedish kind of effect. We don't want to offend people and we're very scared of conflict, so we try to avoid as much as we can. Situation was the following. Back then, steel industry was booming. Our sales had been growing rapidly, I think over 35% the previous year, and there was an urgent need for more material. So before I came into the story, the material was secured, we have ordered it, and it was on its way to us. Turns out that the space that was designated was not big enough. So we needed to urgently find a place to unload a few thousand tons of steel. And that takes a lot of space. We had a few partners in Poland that we had briefly been working with. And I thought it was quite a simple task. I was supposed to go there. I was supposed to have a look at the facilities, make an estimation if it's good enough, the purpose. I knew there was some contract already exchanged, so how hard can this be? Just seal the deal. We came to this location. I had a colleague with me, and the owner, who was also running the business, greeted us very warmly. And I must say, being a Swede and entering any situation in Poland has always been super simple. People are very nice to Swedes for some reason. We have apparently a reputation. And there's always something good to talk about, so it went off very easily. And We took a walk around the facilities. I noted a few things that, okay, this is probably something we have to work on and improving, but nothing major. This is going to be a walk in the park, no problem. Entering the conference room, things started to become kind of weird. As we went through the contract, and I highlighted these examples of things I would like them to improve, small investments, I was expecting to get something back like, okay, we can do this, but there will maybe be a higher price or a longer time with the contract or anything else that we can work out. But as we went through, on every single point I pointed out, I just got the blunt, no, we can't do that. And after a good 1.5 to 2 hours, my frustration level was up here. I was just about to explode. Do you know how Swedes look when they're about to explode? Well, we look like this. Yeah, there is absolutely no difference. So when I announced that, okay, I see that we have no possibility to reach any whatsoever common grounds here. So not only do I not going to continue with this agreement here, I'm also going to close down all other operations we have together. And boy, that caused a reaction. The gentleman in front of me got all red in his face and he started screaming. I understand not a single word, but I know it was no good things. And basically, translation was, well, he questionizes if you are the right person to take such a decision. How are you to be here and tell me that we should not do the business? And I was very surprised. I had no clue what just happened. So afterwards, analyzing the situation, I had a few learnings, finally. First of all, as a Swede, when we introduce ourselves, we say like this: hello, my name is Tobias Svensson. I work for a company called SSAB, and we are a company within the steel business and a few words. We don't usually use the titles too much, and we are rather informal. So I had completely failed to introduce myself to this gentleman at the proper level. Then, when I think like the discussion was rather irritating, I didn't show that. So I gave him absolutely no signal or warning that I was not happy with what's going on. And of course, a learning I came from this is that I have to be better in addressing who I am before you go into a meeting in Poland. Apparently, his expectation was that this young fellow, he comes here just to walk around and see how it looks like. And he goes through the agreement just to see what is my standpoint, where am I prepared to cut some or give some in the negotiations. And he was expecting me to come back later on with a more senior member of staff to actually sign the agreement. And he didn't want to give away anything before that moment. So that was a great learning for me. And my colleague suggested maybe you should also change sort of your email footer. Until then it was best regards Tobias. It wasn't really strong enough. So I changed it. So the full name, best regards, Tobias Svensson, purchasing director / member of the management board. Then all the full data of the company, KRS, NIP, address. And I was advised not to use my private number, but rather the one to the assistant because it looks more professional. So I did. And I thought this was great. I didn't have any problems. Passed a few weeks, maybe even a few months. And I got the phone call from the headquarters in Stockholm. A senior member, also a member of a supervisory board, says, well, Tobias, people have been talking. We are actually quite upset of the way that you're constantly flashing around your title here in all the emails. So here we have a clear situation when the expectations from what a Swede expected and a Pole expected was completely different. There is also another learning to this story, and here maybe some of you will be a little bit upset. But Poles and Swedes are addressing problems in a very different way. The common thing, especially in internal situations, if you work with Swedes and you approach a problem, is that we would address everybody that can possibly be touched. We will sit down and we will talk. The manager in the room, his role would be more or less to try to facilitate the story through, so the group as such will come up to a consensus, a decision which everybody feels good with, right? We even have a special word called lagom, which means like, not too much, not too little, everybody is fine. In Poland, it looks slightly different. So when the problem occurred that we don't have enough material, someone find out, okay, we need to buy material. What happens then? Well, the problem is escalated to the right level for someone to actually approve to buy the material. And that happened. The next situation is we don't have space for the material. You end up with another problem. So problem solving in Poland appears to happen very fast, but maybe not always thinking through all the steps that can possibly occur in the future. And just to give you an example how important this is incorporated in the Swedish culture, when you're a student, you can go to the bank. At those days when I was a student, you actually went into the bank, and they have great deals for students, very low cost, and you get the cards and all the things you need. And as I was sitting there, the lady asked me, so, have you started planning for your retirement funds? 19 years old, right? That gives you a hint on how Swedes are planning ahead for the future. Good. What else? Now I'm going to use my cards, because I lost my store a bit. I was going aside. Yes. The painful beginning of my career. When I was approaching my new colleagues, Swedes also has a belief, an over-belief in that everything is as in Sweden. And if everything is as in Sweden, it must be good. So I started up doing a lot of mistakes with good intentions and addressing people directly with, well, in Sweden we would do it like this, or in Sweden we would do it like that. That don't really bring a lot of friends when you're starting up working with a team like that. And I think from being that guy 12 years ago, trying to impose a Swedish thinking in a Polish organization, I think I have sort of succeeded. So if anyone will come visit my company, you will probably feel a different approach than in a traditional Polish company. There is a Swedish environment to it. But I think even more importantly today, I am translating the other way. So I am helping my colleagues in Sweden and nowadays in Finland. We have been growing quite a bit to actually understand the reality doing business with Poles. Especially in the field that a lot of you guys are in HR. So trying to explain that, yes, there is no inflation in Poland, but there is still a lack of good personnel and salaries will increase. These kind of things completely not understood in a country like Finland, for example. So I guess I would like to finish here so you can get your break and your coffee. And if anyone would like to continue the discussion, I'm here for the break. Then unfortunately I would have to leave. And I wish you all a very nice day, and I hope at least I can give you or share some situations where countries and cultures causes trouble. Thank you very much.